Hello to everyone, brethren, neighbors, those passing through for the first time or for several times. I wanted to say a thank you to all those that have subscribed over the many 12 to 13 years. I've been off and on this YouTube platform that went from Malaysia at first, which had to do with the religion I was born into, coming out of that into Israel. And then now it's the new platform is and has been for the last year, Yahuah's Love and Heart. Yahuah's Love and Heart Ministries. I've been walking quite a bit, so I maybe should have waited just a little bit longer before I make this quick upload. I wanted to talk about health, wellness, and this platform. Health-wise, I wanted to say, with a lot of the inflation and everything that's going on, adding different various of beans and lentils and learning how to even bake your own barley bread with different grains and so forth. There's certain times and seasons that's good for your body. Yahuah wants us to stay healthy. He wants us to be walking in his nature and looking at his creation to enjoy. It does not cost. It does if you have to drive, yes, if you have to climb up many mountains and things like that. But in a general sense, there's a lot to our diet, between fasting and then changing our outlook on how we want to see healing in our lives. Yahuah can heal any illness, disorder, dis-ease, but it has to be where you're in complete submission to him and you're submitted through Yahusha. See, Holy Spirit will work to heal. It does take longer and it could take many years, but at the same time, if you do not know the spiritual warfare from your childhood, if you do not know the different spirits that have been on your family, generational curses, ancestral curses, if you don't know how to cast that down and out, if you don't know how to remove any of that, and I've talked about this several times on this platform in the past, if you're not familiar with that, that will still stick to you. And I worked on that for many, many years as Yahuah was opening my eyes to who he wanted me to be, who I was in his Ruach HaKodesh, in his love, in his heart, who I was in the kingdom, my lineage, and then moved me into understanding where I am in his kingdom, what royalty really means in his eyes. And there are times that your body will struggle with different ailments just because of weather, because of the climate you're in. Like, we have tons of fires. We had so many fires within the 4 states. I'm in Oregon, so the amount of fires that we have been so tremendous. There's been no water at all. I'm used to it, but not to this degree, not to this degree or this level at all, of going from a 4 to a 5 fire, which is like the worst. It's not right outside where I live, but it is close enough where at least we don't have the ashes coming down that happened a couple years ago. However, it has been a real travesty for those that have lost their land, their animals. People have passed away in other places, and that part is very sad. It did reach, I think, all the way up through Canada. And then also, I wanted to share that I'm going to go ahead and turn off the comments on here. I do not ever get any anymore. So that could also be that everyone is just listening. They're awake. They understand what's going on in the world. And, although I stay separate from it, there are a lot of terms and words I don't like to use that are kind of out in society. But lately I've just been hearing it repetitively. So, you have to constantly be cleansing yourself out of anything that even remotely seems like it's fleshly. even words and terminology, which is just a whole nother topic. And I'm going to actually make a video on that. The next video after this will be my explanation of many areas where I have still used Christ as display. Yahuah has given me word before with Christ in it. So I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to judge spiritually. You know, if you're just coming into the understanding and discernment of who Yahuah is and truly who Yahusha was on earth as a name in a body, and then being of Elohim, it's sometimes it can be a little bit people get turned off sometimes with too many different titles and understandings, but Yahusha had many titles here on earth. And you know, he was the Prince of Peace, he was branch of righteousness, he's the living water, you know, he's the bread of life. Like, there's just so many titles, and Yahuah looks at us that way in his kingdom when he gives us callings, when he gives us an actual assignment. I mean, there's so much to that, and that's more of the prophetic walk. And I don't mean to say, you know, titles like deacon and pastor, preacher, like all of that crazy stuff of the world to that point, but evangelizing is true. You're edifying people. You are ministering to them is more the word I'd use, ministering to someone that's in the Holy Word. Same thing with, so what I'm going to go ahead and do, I do have a business email. I'm going to actually not use that. My email that's attached to this, which is the Yahuah, that one is jam-packed, and I really hadn't looked at it. I did delete some videos off of there. There was just so much in there that I did not actually want to have anyone contact me anymore there because it was just so backed up. So if I do apologize, there are a few sisters I've been in contact with in the past from this platform, and it may have blocked you out. It may have went to spam and I never received it. With projects and jobs I've had to go through my emails a lot. So for me, I'm just going to turn into what Yahuah wants me to teach on, and then I'm going to move on to the music, and I'm just going to do what I need to do, and we won't worry about comments or connecting. That way you're hearing what is being said. So if you pass through here, if you do get a chance to, where your heart is edified and encouraged, just know that I'm trying to finish the work of this platform that Yahuah has for me. Sometimes he removes me, puts me on a detox or a certain fast where I need to focus more on my health or my wellness and having myself physically the way I want to be and look. And then there's other times where he may tell you, you know, he may remove you from eating certain foods, or perhaps you're only eating like breads and vegetables and fruits and things like that. And so that can also affect your energy with your body and having the motivation. So it's, you know, you have to stay very hydrated. And so, like, as I was saying with the fires, I have to be very hydrated. And sometimes it takes a lot out of you when you're instructing, when you're giving words of wisdom, when you're hearing the Spirit of Yahuah, him speaking. So I just wanted to get on here and say that real briefly. This one will go out, and then the very long one will go out. And again, I never want to be of confusion. And when you are called to so many areas, it can sometimes overlap. You're going from one assignment to the next. You're going from one calling to the next, one chosen actual purpose to the next. And you have to take time to reflect on each one. So I just wanted to say that it kind of goes along with the creativity of, baking with my hands. And if you're doing a lot of that with recipes, or if you're writing a lot, if you're doing other areas in life that you love, that are actual promises on your heart, then it can take a lot out of you. So there are times you just need a lot of extra rest. And you also want to encourage others. And that is important. Connection and being a part of Yahuah's kingdom, his family, is really important. And that is an area in my life that I am purposefully going to pursue. And what I mean by that is, I was doing a lot of ministry just out of my home, sometimes out of my comfort zone. However, wherever I'm called, I go. So that was happening. Now the way things are, and when I talked about a storm coming to earth and demons possessing people's bodies and taking over their bodies, and I'm sorry about any background noise, I'll be getting off this real quick. Any area where people just aren't hearing, they're not discerning, and they're starting to act. I mean, you're seeing it where people are dealing with a lot of violence and murders and things of their families, and people are losing their minds, and so they're taking it out on people they should not, that they love, and it's very sad. And we really need to pray for the babies. We really need to pray for the young children of the earth, because they cannot protect themselves all the time. So we really have to cover them and ask for a hedge of protection over them, extra protection, and just know that as these days get the way they get, not just the weather, but the storms of demons really possessing and taking over people, there's going to be less and less opportunity to communicate and to talk. So you really have to be willing to branch out and find who is living the way Yahuah wants them to, and connect with them. That's how you're really going to be encouraged. The phone, I get it. Everything is online. But we don't want to become like the world, where we forget to communicate with our brethren outside of that, or not being willing to try. And so that is kind of where I'm at. I try. If Yahuah says to connect, or he has me assigned to be encouraging, or whatever that may be, we need to follow through with that. And he'll give us the rest and his Holy Spirit to do so. And there was one other point I wanted to make. This is just more of me just chatting with you, like actually speaking to you, as though all of you were here, whoever is going through this platform, or just speaking. That is what I am conveying right now. This is just more like a friendly heart-to-heart. There will be some difficult topics I will bring up. There will be some disturbing ones, perhaps some not full understanding, so I have to be very discerning that I make sure whoever needs to hear it hears it, and that when I start to get into speaking about the spirit realm and areas that we have to really guard our entire minds from, and how to cast that out, I have to explain what the spiritual actual warfare is and what that spirit is, because otherwise you don't know how to put on your armor and to fight against it. So I just wanted to mention that. So I'll be taking the comments off. If you have my other email, great. The AlasiaT@gmail.com it may allow you to send an email, but I'm not specifying that right now. Right now I just want to finish the work at hand that I need to, so I can move on with more of my personal life and parts of my life that I'm ready to go ahead and get into. And music is one, just, singing for Yahuah, and writing and finishing books and things like that. And love. So that's important as well. And so I just want to share that with you. I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I really did forget the thought that I had. This wasn't written down. This was really just a couple areas I wanted to speak on and get that off of my heart to talk here. The next upload will be very long, again, like I said. And then I will continue the encouragement, weekly encouragements as well. And I'll be working on some of my own work in my life to make funds, finances. So, all right, everyone, take care. Thank you so much. And remember that Yahusha as a word, you have to read and you have to really go to Yahuah and ask him questions and listen, because he may not say it right away, but he will answer you. He will teach you. He will instruct you. Because all scriptures is inspired and beneficial of Yahuah, right? For teaching, reproving, and setting straight. Everything we need, everything we need to understand is in there, and then he will give us so much understanding and love and patience and discernment and wisdom on every other area, for our heart, for our life, for family, for marriage. Just, he is everything. And we need to stay so close to him. All right, so thank you for stopping by, and talk soon.